Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to cover the properties window. So I made a video on the project explorer window, which is right here by clicking Control R. That's what this screen is. And remember, the project explorer is just a place where you can write your code, and by default Microsoft gives you 3 sheets and a workbook, but you could add modules or you could insert forms or class modules, and they would all appear here, and you could write your code there, and that's all this Project Explorer is. Microsoft, it has it has objects like sheets and workbooks, and you can change properties on all these things. You could change properties on objects, you could change properties on a module, properties on a user form. You could change properties on anything because everything has a property. Everything usually has a name or all kinds of different properties. So that's what the properties window does. It shows you the properties of an object and allows you to change it. So how do we get to that? So here's the icon up here, and you could press it or you could press F4. If I click this, look what happened. A window popped up, the properties window, and I want to show you how you use the properties window. So I said before in other video about the Project Explorer that we write our code in modules, and we do that because we can organize things a lot better. We can name our module something, and it can be very specific and say, like, we have all our macros for department in here, so I'm going to name this module department. Or I have another module for company, I want to name that module company or something. So how do we change that name? How does that module, why is it so important that we can customize, and how do we make it customizable? Well, you use the properties window. So all you do is left click on the module and go down here in the properties window and just change the name, department, and then there it is. That module is now named department. If you had another module, let me just insert a module here. Here's another module I just inserted. I can call this one company or whatever. This could be anything, but it's specific. It's VBA developers use these modules to they make their name specific, and they write their code in there, and everything matches up. So all your company macros are in here, all your database macros are in this one, or you get the idea that modules are easily customizable, and you can write your code in there. So let's look at what other things the properties window can do. Well, it can change the name of a sheet. So if I go to the workbook, you'll see I have 3 sheets: sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. And like I said before, Microsoft Sheets worksheets are objects, and they have properties. We could use this properties window here to change the name of the sheet. So if I left click on sheet 1, I have a properties here, properties window. I can go down to name, and I can rename it test sheet 1. And if I do that, notice what happened. Immediately up here, the name test sheet 1 appears. And Microsoft keeps this syntax where you'll see sheet 1 and then in parentheses the actual name of the worksheet. So sheet 1 here is just a reference, a default reference for you. This is not the name of the worksheet anymore. This in parentheses is going to be the name of your worksheet. And let's check that. If I go to the workbook, I have test sheet 1. So that's how you can use the properties window if you want to change the properties of a worksheet. Not only can you change the name, you could change all these other properties. Display page breaks, I could set that to true or false, display left to right, enable auto filter. I mean, there's all these different things that you can change right here in this properties window. You could also change these in VBA code, but this shows you, the properties of the worksheet that you can change. So this is good to understand conceptually that an object has properties, and you can change properties, and you're going to be doing that as a VBA developer. You're going to be working with objects and setting their properties or checking their properties, and you're going to do that in code, or you're going to do that here in the properties window. I use this field a lot, the properties window. I use the name field a lot. So that's what I use the properties windows for. Usually is to like change module names, or sometimes I change sheet names. Other times for a sheet, I will want it to be invisible. So I will go hidden, and I'll change it to hidden, and now I only have 2 sheets here, because what I did was I went here and I made the sheet sheet 1. You see that it's hidden. So that's something you can do, is make sheets hidden or visible. And sheets very hidden, I'm not sure offhand what that does, but I'm just thinking that it adds another level of abstraction or hiddenness, I guess. But let me change this back. So you saw that. So I clicked on sheet 1. I first made it invisible, and then I just made it visible. So if we go back to the workbook, there it is. It's visible again. So that is pretty much what this properties window is for. And if I add another object into this project, like a user form, you'll see that if I click on the user form, I have more properties. So this is user form properties. If I want to change the name of this user form, notice that it doesn't have a name listed here, but it does have the name listed here. And notice that sheet 1 does have the name. These sheets, they do have a name field. So why is that? Well, because these user forms, they're not visible in the workbook. So if you add a module, you're not going to see a module anywhere in the workbook. Only in the Visual Basic Editor are you going to see this module. And the same with the user form. So that's why the name here has it doesn't have an extra field on there, because it doesn't need one. But if I want to change the name of this user form, I do the same thing. I just go to this name and I just say my form or something. I could also change other things. So with user forms, you could change background colors, and I could do that here. I can go to the palette and change this to yellow, or that's the border color, but back color I could change to orange or something. So you see I changed that user form background color. So that's how you begin to really customize your forms and customize your worksheets and change names. You're doing it through this properties window. And here you could also change font, and you could change the width and the height and all kinds of properties. This is what the properties window is good for. So that is all I wanted to show you in this video, is that you can click on this properties icon here and you'll get the properties window, or you could press F4, because that little pop-up says you can press F4. So you have your project window here, you have your properties window here, and now you're ready to start developing. In the next video and the next couple videos, I'll go over what this object browser is, and I'll also go over classes and objects. But there'll be a lot of more videos coming. If you have questions, please go to the website. Go to let me just go to it real quick. Go to excelvbasequel.com and go here, and you could watch all the videos, and you can also download all the files that you see in the videos, the working files. So you don't need to write the code. You can just have the code right there, download the file, and you'll have a bunch of macros that work and that do a lot of cool things. So if you want to email me your problem or question, just go to this contact link here and email it to me, and I can answer it and put it in a video, or if you want consulting work or something like that, let me know. But Excel VBA SQL is where you're going to find all the downloadable files for all these macros. Okay, thanks a lot.